hello, Parent Power Hour. Welcome. I am Kristen, and I'm here with NewMinds.tv to bring you the Parent Power Hour. That's right, you're in the right place. You're here to get powered up so that you can better serve and be more of fully of yourself, so you can better serve your family that you're with, the loved ones that you are FaceTiming with, and all of the meetings that you're showing up for virtually. That's what this time is about. If you are a parent, go ahead and try to find a spot that is away from a little bit of the noise maybe, or maybe you've got me plugged in your ear while you're making dinner. And if you're not a parent, obviously choose the same physical position, but know that all of the things that we talk about here in Parent Power Hour are more about how to better take care of ourselves so that we can take care of those around us, whether that's in our homes or virtually in meetings and conversations that we're having. How are you guys doing today? I'm so happy that you're here. It's Wednesday here in Dallas. It's just a little bit after 10 a.m. And I'm so happy you're here. So how are you doing? Just do a little midweek check. We're participating in the last night. I keep calling it the last. I'll get over it eventually. The next 90 days challenge. This is not our challenge, but it's something that I'm inviting all the Parent Power Hour community to join me in. It's totally free to sign up. You sign up at theholliscode.com/next90, and it's totally free. What you'll get there are resources. They're not going to bomb your email inbox at all. It's a portal that you can access when you're ready for that information. I mean, we're talking about audio recordings and podcasts and content and full cool worksheets to work through if you're into that sort of thing, or even text messages and screensavers, like all kinds of things that we actually talk about here a lot on Parent Power Hour, about tools that can help power us up, and so that we can be intentional about the way that we're representing ourselves, the conversations that we're having. I keep talking about conversations like the sixth time I said that, and we're 2 minutes in. So apparently that's on my mind this morning. And yeah, I'd really love to hear how it's going for you. We are in, we're in day 8 of the next 90-day challenge. So we've got 82 more to go. And what we do every day of the 90-day challenge is we practice the 5 to Thrive, and it's gratitude practice, which is something that we almost talk about every time here on Parent Power Hour. So I think, what better way to have a community of people that we can practice this with together, knowing that we're all doing it. There's thousands of people that have already signed up, hundreds of thousands, I'll be correct, and it's exciting to, follow on Instagram and see the comments and see the encouragement and see the people who are, hashtag next 90 days, and see all of the amazing positive things that are happening in people's lives, because they're doing things like a daily gratitude practice. That's one of the 5 to Thrive. The other are drinking half your body weight in water, which I'm super thirsty today, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. How about we all pause and how about we all have a little drink together? Here we go. Everybody together. Yeah, that feels right. That feels right. I think what's also really cool about, or what I find cool or powerful about drinking water, you got to stop. Especially when you're trying to drink 2 of these a day. And yes, it says drink the stupid water. I used to not drink as much water. I used to be in the classroom all day long every day, and I was a specialist. I was a music teacher, and so, you've got kids in and out of your room, your classroom. For me, it was my music room. I've got kids in and out of my music room all day, every 45 minutes. I can't leave them alone. I was the only teacher in the room. Didn't have a classroom assistant or anything like that. So, drinking water to me was a luxury, because I'm like, if I drink water, that means I gotta go to the bathroom. I don't have time to go to the bathroom. Teacher bladder is a real thing, everybody. It's a thing. And now that we're all home, we're all gonna have to retrain. We're all gonna have to retrain our bodies, because now we can just go to the bathroom whenever we want. So no, we're not here to talk about the bathroom. That was as a continuation of a thought about how we're drinking our water. And some things that I like about that is it does make you stop, right? Especially what I was saying was when you have a giant water bottle like I do, I can't just keep on moving throughout my day and toss back my bottle of water. I have to pause. I have to take a few moments. Let's do it again. Let's do it again together. Here we go. It still feels good. And it's a little bit of a moment for you to reflect, to be honest. I mean, what was that, 3.5 seconds? But how often do we even just in the speed of the day, of the morning, of getting our life going, do we pause? And having a drink of water is an excuse. It's a great way also to break up a tough conversation. If somebody's coming, if you need that, we talked a few episodes ago about taking a pause before responding to someone and having that, 3 seconds or 5 seconds to pause to collect your thinking and to show also that person that you are actually listening to them definitely gives you a moment of reflection. And so water can do that too. If you're heated or if your kids are like, but mom, you said, okay, hang on a second. I'm going to take a drink of water. Okay, hang on. Because everybody knows you can't talk when you're drinking water. But you can stop. Okay, hang on. Okay, what's my plan here? I'm calming down. I'm calming, and you're drinking the whole time, right? You can get back into that balance of emotional positivity instead of negativity. You can do lots of things to readjust. You can breathe. You should be breathing while you're drinking water. Take more than one sip, little tiny sips. That's not really, little tiny like that's not going to be enough for your body, and you're not going to make it through a giant water bottle either that way. Chug it when you got a chance. Then go to the bathroom once instead of lots of 10,000 times throughout the day. Something else that I heard that it's a little bit silly, but it's also something that I tried in the past few days, and it's been like, okay, I'll try this, see how it goes, and if I'm feeling all right about it, I'll share it with you all. But with this next 90 days, drinking half your body weight in ounces of water, of course, means lots of trips to the bathroom. And so that's also another time to collect yourself, right? If you've got to go pee all the time, the kids can't be, they might be in the bathroom with you screaming at you like, mom, you're like, okay, yeah, I got it. I'm going to pee first. I'm going to pee. You got it. You can't go anywhere. So check it. Take a second, take the moment to process what's happening in your brain with intentionality instead of responding to it, right? Go through some of those practices that we've had here. Take some of those breathing exercises that we've talked about here. And then also the other option that was new for me, there's lots of people are floating around with different physical challenges, right? Plank challenges, push-up challenges, whatever, all these fitness kind of challenges, right? And so someone that I am talking to is like, yeah, I'm doing this 100 push-ups a day challenge. And I'm like, that's a lot of push-ups. And they're like, if you do 10 different times a day, that's 100. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot, sitting down and doing 100 that's a lot. But if you break it up and do 10 by 10, and then the other thing I heard was well, now that you're drinking so much water, you're going to the bathroom more often. If you probably end up going to the bathroom 10 times a day, why not do your 10 push-ups then? And so then your body kind of gets the signal of go to the bathroom, do 10 push-ups. Don't do it next to your toilet. That's disgusting. But step away. Step away from the toilet. Do your 10 push-ups. Then go wash your hands because you just touched the floor in the general area. And I tried it the last few days. I'm not doing 10 because I'm trying to do full body push-ups. So I'm starting I started at 5 and now I'm at 7. So we'll get there. But yeah, I'd say I think I'm intentionally doing that at least every time I go to the bathroom in my personal space instead of somewhere else in the house. Not like the living room or anything, you guys. No, the powder bathroom in the house. Moving on. You guys know me. Come on. But my point there is that yesterday I think I got in at least 5 rounds of 7, so I did 35 push-ups, right? Is that the right math? Yeah, I think it is. Okay. This is Parent Power Hour is not about math. What it is about throwing out some ideas for you, things for you to try, right? And looking at ways that we can do some of the things intentionally to that's good for our body, right? And that's accessible. We don't all have time to step out and do 100 push-ups, or you've got your kids running around, or whatever else is going on with all your meetings. You don't have time to step out and do 100 push-ups, or technically step back and drink all that water. But if you kind of like throw it in and use it to your advantage, so you're waking up early, 1 hour early, you're practicing your gratitude, you're drinking half your body weight in water, which we're going to take advantage of, and do also some mindfulness practice, some of the other breathing techniques that we've practiced. Use it as a calm down thing for you. So that's something we're going to put in. We're also going to take away one thing that we know that's not good for us, some sort of food category, whether that's cookies or wine or pasta or whatever it is you're putting into your body that you actually know isn't the best thing for you. We're going to eliminate that. And you don't have to do that same thing for all 90 days. Again, for me, I got to break things down in smaller chunks to feel like it's accomplished. It's like something I can accomplish. And so I'll do one thing for the first 30, something else for the second 30, and something else for the last 30. And by all means, if you have that sort of discipline, that mindset isn't something that you kind of have to trick yourself with, then go all 90 days, go all out. And then same thing with the water. Like, if you want to drink more than half your body weight in ounces, go for it, go all out. So I think that's a pretty good review of the 5 to Thrive. That's kind of what I'm checking on with you all. I'm curious, like, are you participating in it? Like, did you sign up? You don't really have to do much. You just pop on the website, sign up. They'll send you a welcome info thing. And then after that, they're not going to bother you with all the stuff. However, you have access to the community in those moments when you've already listened to me. You've already done your start the day and your end the day with Ben and Justin. And you've gotten your family time in, you've gotten all the things done for the day, and you're still needing or wanting to go to a community that you know is on the same track as you, giving you skills, just pouring into you so that you know that you're a part of something that's greater, and that you are a part of something that we can all look back on this at the end of it and say, hey, I did that. Because really that's what this is about. It's not about losing weight. It's not about being a perfect person. It's about looking back and being able to say, okay, yeah, Corona pandemic was happening, and I participated in the next 90 days challenge, and I was healthy in this way. And I took, it's not because of or instead of, but it's that, and in the midst of that, you were doing that. It's almost like you get a chance to prove to yourself, to actually prove to yourself you can do hard things, which you can. You have already. You're here right now. You've gone through things in your life, and we will continue to go through things moving forward that are hard. And so something that we've been circling around a little bit in our conversation this week is, there's a little bit of questions sometimes that come to me about, how do you're just so positive. I'm not positive, I'm optimistic. And because positive would be a little bit of a, like, oh, you're just so hopeful about what's happening with Corona. And I'm talking about the pandemic that we're in. I'm talking about any crisis. If you talk to my team, they might be like, Kristen, I don't know if positive is the word. No, I'm a realist when it comes to getting work done. I just like, guys, we got to get this done. Let's focus on this. And like, in that way, it's positive. Come on, Justin, back me up here a little bit. I'm like, as soon as I said, oh, people just ask me why you're so positive all the time, I was like, in my brain, I was like, I don't know if Justin would really call me like, oh, hey, Kristen, you're so positive. I think that he probably sees me as optimistic, and when it comes to work, a realist, right? Here's our circumstances. What are we going to do to move forward? And that's kind of what I'm here for you as well. I'm bringing some what people might call positivity. I'm reversing that and saying it's optimism, and I'm here also to help move you forward. I'm being a realist in that, like, we're here in this together, and if you stay where you are, if you stay stuck, if you stay surrounding yourself with all the negativity and all the worry and all the fear, which we spent our first 2 weeks of Parent Power Hour really unpacking fear, really unpacking, that concept of worry. And yes, and we'll still continue to touch on it and find some strategies and ways to adjust our perspective on it as we continue to talk here. But at the same time, I lost my train of thought. Here we are, and what we're talking about today is piggybacking off of optimism. I brought it back, guys. If I had like fire, I'd be like pew pew pew, and it just came back in, and I got it. And that's the idea of practicing gratitude is optimism, because when we're able to shift, I'm looking at the quote. Where is it? When we're able to shift our thinking of accepting, looking at the reality, accepting it, naming it to tame it, that's where the optimism and the hope comes in, and that can be cultivated by intentionally practicing gratitude, by keeping your eyes open for things, which to me is one of the powerful parts of the next 90-day challenge, is that if you write down 5 things that you're grateful for, and that's part of your challenge every day, is to write down 5 things that you're grateful for every day, then your eyes are going to be open to them. You're going to be like, okay, well, tonight before I go to bed, I'm going to write my 5 things I'm grateful for. What am I going to write? If you kind of start your day off that way, and your eyes are more open to the things that you do have to be grateful for. And practicing gratitude is how we acknowledge, it's how we acknowledge that there is enough. There is enough in this world. Enough blank. You fill it in. Whatever you're afraid of that there's not enough of, there is enough. And practicing gratitude is also how we acknowledge that we are enough, that we have everything within us, and that when you start to go into this question that I posed today of, well, but what will people think? Or what are people going to think about my family not doing X, Y, and Z? Or what are people going to think if I'm, the only one that's not sitting down posting pictures of me and my children surrounded by their laptops and their math worksheets? I'm always with the math worksheets. I don't know. I think maybe I don't like them. So that's why I always bring it into my negative teaching scenarios. But if that's something that is a question that you ask yourself often, what we must do, and I'm being direct with you about this because it has so much power to shift your perspective. What we must do is, if we want to move from that, what will people think, and this perfectionist mentality of my kids are drawing the perfect, amazing, sidewalk chalk art. I'm just trying to pull stuff out that I know that some moms are like, I don't have, I not only do I not do that, my kids don't want to do that. And so then there's this whole comparison thing that starts happening about the pictures that are being posted and whatever. And that's a form of perfectionism, right? Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to present yourself as though you're just like everyone else. Good news. You're not like everybody else. And so striving for what seems to be this socially acceptable, or this, we're thriving in Corona, look what we're doing at home, kind of thing is that struggle for perfectionism. And so if we want to move from perfectionism away from that, we have to take the journey of, instead of asking ourselves, what will people think? We have to take that journey and say, I am enough. Instead of being consumed with all of that, the fact that my kids aren't interested in sidewalk chalk, that's enough. That's where we are. That's who we are. And when we start to transition from being so wrapped up and asking ourselves always, but what are people going to think about, blah, 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 and what are people going to think, to just plain blank, I think that's what I'm trying to say, I am enough. And this journey has to begin with resilience, and more specifically, as Brene Brown talks a lot about shame shame resilience. We talk a lot about resilience with our kids and our students in our schools. So at this point, our kids, because our kids are all at home. And hi, Jennifer, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Thank you for coming in. And I didn't say hello to Justin. He's actually here. Or my mom. Hi, Miss Jeannie. Hi, Mom. Jennifer, I'm glad you're here. We are talking about today starting to take the journey away from constantly trying to fill in that void and attain for that perfectionism and asking ourselves what will people think, and shift to that journey of I am enough. And that journey begins with shame resilience. It begins with resilience, first of all, and more specifically shame resilience. And I was just starting to venture into how we spend a lot of time with our kids talking and being concerned about their resilience and being concerned about, yes, their transitions and how they are going from one activity in the home to the next activity, to taking a break, to lunch, to whatever. And that plays into their resilience. That plays into their ability to navigate themselves, to navigate the next conversation, the next activity. And children are on the spectrum of that. And that's why it is 100% something that we do and we should talk more about with kids, and that what we hope to do is to help them to build their resiliency, to help them to build that growth mindset and flexibility, flexible thinking, no matter where they are, and that they're not going to arrive at that. They're children, right? Here we are as adults. How are we doing at practicing our resiliency? Are we resilient? And especially when it comes to our shame. And part of the reason why this is settling in today is because we started off the week by talking about bringing the joy. That joy is something that is cultivated, that is intentional. Can't just, I'm so happy all the time. I'm happy. No, that's that's not real. That's just not real. I mean, I'm laughing and being light about it, but you can be happy. I'm not saying be happy is not real. What I'm saying is that it comes from somewhere. And when you bring that in and you're bringing that joy and you've worked hard to cultivate it and you've been intentionally, finding that, practicing your gratitude, practicing your mindfulness. Hey, Tina, welcome in. I'm glad you're here. There is no late. You're here at all. That's all that matters. She said coming on late, but I'm here. There is no late. We're here together. And so when we start to get to that thinking, then that's when we can start to transition more to that resilience, right? So the other element of shifting our journey from thinking about what will people think about X, Y, and Z, which while we're not physically interacting with people right now, we're still consuming. We're still consuming all the social media, all the posts, all the pictures, all the videos, even on the family chats, even on the group FaceTimes and all those things, even on the meetings that you're having with people on screens. All of us do it. All of us do it. We all ask, okay, if I say this, but what's somebody going to think about me if I say this? So what we must do is to begin that journey of switching and instead of asking ourselves that, to say, I am enough. One of the steps to getting there is to cultivate, as an adult, our resilience, and more specifically, our shame resilience. And we'll unpack that a little bit later. And I bring that up about joy because 100% shame is something that steals our joy. There's foreboding joy is also a concept that Brené Brown talks a lot about. We'll get into that later. I feel like that is in and of itself like a whole week of conversation. But just to touch on it a little bit here is like when you catch yourself like feeling the joy, feeling the pride, feeling the happiness, the contentment of whatever moment that you're in. Everyone's sitting down at the dinner table. Everyone's done all of their homework for the day, all of their schoolwork for the day. Everyone's finished with the meetings. Maybe, you have the meeting at 8:30 after dinner, but here we are, it's dinner. All the kids are at the table. The dinner's delicious, and you're like, what? this happens once in like a lifetime, and here I am, and I just, I want to capture this moment forever. It's beautiful. It's, the kids are chatting about something funny, and my spouse and I are, glancing at each other across the table because what they say is so funny right now, and the food's good, and the dog's actually, sitting down next to us and not barking at our table, and like just that moment, those moments in time, that's what we're looking for in gratitude. We're looking for those moments. And then also, this foreboding joy idea is when you start to click in and you're like, this is amazing, but it's not going to last. I want to remember this forever. I want to remember it right now because it's not here forever. And I know that it's going to change, and we're all going to get up from the table, and everybody's going to go back to, nagging at each other about the dishes, which kid's going to pick up the dishes from the table, and then the dog's going to start trying to get on the table to get the scrap food, and, the reality is going to kick in. So I don't want to lose this moment right here, right now. What you've done is you've just like, you didn't blow up your joy completely. But that's that foreboding joy concept, and that we have a lot of work to do around recognizing the joy and living with it. And instead of going to this place of scarcity, that it's going to go away, that I've got to hang on to it. It's going to go away. I don't want to let it go. When you start to do that, chemical things happen in your brain that separate it from this truly holistic, positive energy, positive emotional energy to kick in for you. And it starts to venture away into that fear of losing it, into that fear of it going away. And that's where shame can start to kick in there, because then you start to beat yourself up about that. And we'll come back to what we're talking about now, because we can go on so many roads. So one step of the journey of transitioning from asking yourself, what are people going to think about X, Y, and Z, and into living with, and as I love, Brené's constantly saying, you gotta lean into your joy, lean into your practicing of your gratitude, and acknowledge that you are enough. So step 1 is that resiliency. Step 2, self-compassion. This is also something, hey Shay, good morning, I'm glad you're here. Something we're kind of talking about, a layer of things. One of them is things that can steal our joy. And right now we're circling around the concept of how powerful it will be when we are going for that perfectionism, whatever continuum, whatever point you're on, whether you give a care or not, that we still also have this question often of what will people think about, whether it's a comment that you make on a video, on a live, whether it's a picture that you post. Instead of asking ourselves what will people think, to shift to acknowledging and living with I am enough. And self-compassion, a lot of times what's going to happen, instead of living into the joy and cultivating that joy that you've worked so hard, you've started out your morning with asking yourself, what can I be excited about today? You started out your morning with gratitude practice. You started out your morning with thinking, or your day with thinking, okay, what are the things that might trip me up when it comes to my excitement and my joy that I know that I'm looking forward to today? And how can I still show up and be my best self even when those things start to show up and trip me up? And so what we can start to do, and I bet some of you might even be doing it right now, catch yourself. Are you starting to judge yourself that you didn't ask yourself those things this morning? Are you starting to be like, well, crap, like I didn't do that this morning. Like A of all, there's too much going on. B of all, I'm not there. C of all, blah, 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 blah. That's not self-compassion. Being self-compassionate means allowing for yourself to recognize that that's a sign that it's not where you want to be. Instead of saying to yourself, well, I didn't do all of that, and so now I feel like crap because now I'm just da-da-da. No. Check yourself and say, I didn't do all that. Oh, that's a sign that that's important to me. That's a sign that that's something that I want to include in my life. I want to fill that gap. That's a sign that I might need to take a step back and think about how I structure my morning, or how I can start to alter my thinking when I am taking a shower in the morning, or when I am drinking the water and taking a break, and when I go to the bathroom. You weren't here before, but we're talking about our 5 to Thrive, because I'm inviting everyone to participate in the Next 90 Days challenge with me. I am participating as a huge community. Over hundreds of thousands of people are doing it. Sign up at thehollisco.com/next90. And one of the 5 to Thrive is to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. And so today I was kind of halfway joking, but also like something that I've learned in the past 8 days since we've started the challenge is, when you drink the water, you can't talk to anybody. And when you drink the water, you got to go pee a lot more often. And so when you got to go pee, there's nowhere else you can go. There's nowhere else you can be. What a gift. What a gift to pause and process through some of these questions that you might be asking yourself. You know what? Let's all take some water right now. Whatever you're doing, go grab your bottle of water. Let's all bottoms up, everybody. And notice just even that 0.3 seconds of taking a few drinks. I don't think sips will give you the kind of thing, so don't sip it. Chug it. Also, I've got to drink 2 of these a day. That's going to take me forever if I sip it. So another step to transitioning from what will people think to beginning the journey of, and it's a journey, you're not going to get there today, of acknowledging I am enough. Shame, resilience, self-compassion, and owning our stories, which I love because, guys, we did that already. If you were here in our first week, episode 2, we did a whole practice of, this is some large hair today. It had to happen. You know what? It's not Parent Power Hour if I don't talk about my hair. It's just where we're at. It's just who I am. Okay. Self-compassion. My hair is enough. But part of our owning our stories is knowing who we are. Oh, the sun's coming out. It's getting a little brighter in here. This is great. And owning our stories is knowing who we are and what our purpose is. And we also did a deeper dive into talking about what stories do we tell ourselves. A lot of times, the meaning that we start to make in our heads about what's happening is just that, is us making meaning. And that is a natural human brain experience thing. I think I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. That's like the second time I've done that. See, that's the beauty of live. You don't get to like cut it and then come back. Okay. I didn't touch anything. That's the reason why it was so loud. I know some people are like, oh my God, don't touch your face now. It's going to be okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. So self-compassion and owning our stories. Owning your story is also claiming a truth about who you are. You're not the mom that's going to stop on every sidewalk and do all the amazing chalk art because you're running and jogging with your kids on their bikes. Like, that's not your thing, or whatever your case is. I have been on a journey myself about, how what yoga means to me, and like how, the truth of it is, part of the reason why I never practiced yoga in the first place, because I thought I had to be like, flexi Lexi to get stuff done. But I'm not super flexible. In fact, I have like the tightest hamstrings and shoulders. Like you guys see, like I'm constantly adjusting my shoulders to be like, okay, bring them down. And I even like sit crooked a little bit because I have more tension in one shoulder than the other. I think it's this shoulder. So you'll see me like crooked. And that's all my tension. And so I have been on this journey for quite a long time to recognize, of all the limits of my body, which is part of practicing yoga. And then also the truth of who I am. I'm not that yoga girl. Like, I'm not going to do headstands. That's a truth. Not saying that I'm resistant. I'm never going to do those. No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the truth of at this moment of the capabilities of my body are not that way. And so that's a little bit more about what my body can do, less than who I am. But another truth of who I am. Talking is how I process things. That's a truth of who I am. And for a long time, I thought I had to process things on my own because I saw some of the some people that I really look up to, some people that are, my mentors, or the people that I admire as far as like their presence when they're around others, and they're calm and they listen and they speak slowly. When I really want to point across, I can do that. That's the teacher in me, right? But I'm more of a talker, and that's a truth of who I am. That's a strength that I can bring to you all, hopefully. So claiming a truth about who you are is owning your story. Claiming a truth about where you come from, what you believe, the imperfect nature of your life. You have to be willing to give yourself a break. You have to be willing to give yourself a break and accept and appreciate the beauty of the cracks or the imperfections. I'm going to get it wrong, or the details wrong. But there's a concept that in Ben Cook's webinar, The Beauty of Imperfection, he ends it, which you can access at newmindsenrichment.com/imperfect. It's a 1-hour webinar. It does come with a workbook. When you sign up for the webinar, you'll get the workbook for free. And the last part of his webinar, he talks about an ancient Eastern practice of when pottery is made and it breaks apart, that any of the places where it's gapped or there's any broken spots, if these little gaps in between my fingers were broken spots on the pottery, that they would actually fill those in with gold, and that something precious goes in between the cracks to show that it's beautiful, and that there is beauty in the imperfections. There's beauty in recognizing that you are enough, and that when you start to let it go, like we talked about on 2 days ago, and when you start to acknowledge that you don't have to keep it all together, and that you are enough, that is part of the concept of choosing the joy. And you're going to have this point right now, especially of this experience that we're all going through, and the recognizing the beauty of the imperfection of yourself, and the things that you're not being so kind about in yourself right now. You might be telling yourself all these things in your head, but to be kinder and gentler with ourselves and each other, just like we are working with our kids and their math worksheets. You're going to be getting a better positive response from them when you're kinder and gentler with them, just like you are with yourself. And that's what Parent Power Hour is about, you guys. That's why we're here right now, is that when we begin to fill in these gaps that we see in ourselves with beautiful gold, with something that is precious, and then we go over to our kids and their struggles, how can you bring something precious to their imperfection gaps? How can you bring beauty to the cracks in their struggles? How can you talk to yourself the way that you want to talk to your children? You may not always be able to process, and you're always in the practice of improving the way that you're pouring into your children. You'll get there a lot faster when you're doing it on yourself as well. So, to wrap up today, what I hope that you are able to take away with you is that we are choosing joy, we are generating our energy, we are finding that calm, and when we change our perspective, when we are mindful and when we are, with more practice, able to manage our emotional activity, then that's calm. Then we have acknowledged we are enough, and we have everything within us that we need to not only survive, but to thrive. And I hope that's a message that you're able to take away with you today. Start to find some opportunity in the rest of your day. If you're here in Dallas and you're moving forward on the rest of your day, if you're finishing your day on the other side of the world, hey Tina, then take a moment and at the end of your day, even for us here in Dallas at the end of this day today, look back and say, what things did I let go? What things that I hope tomorrow I'll be in practicing again on how to let go? What ways did I fill in the cracks for myself with beauty? What ways was I kind to myself and gentle with myself? And say it to yourself, I am enough. I am enough. Guys, say it right now. Ready? I am enough. Say it again. I don't believe you yet. Say it again. I am enough. One more time. I took my voice out of it so you could hear your own voice, and you can put it out there. When you say it, when you speak it, when you name it, you tame it. It's amazing how all of these tools that we get here on Parent Power Hour all come together. I hope you found something that was real in our talk today. I hope that you're inspired, that you learned something new. And no matter what happens throughout your day, and that every day you're pursuing your passions, you're practicing the things that are important to you, and you're able to get to a place where, as you're in that habit of practicing them, they become your talent. They become who you are, the truth of who you are. I'm Kristen. I thank you so much for hanging in with us today. I'd love to see, obviously, comments, tags, posts, likes. Something that we are working for here on NewMinds.tv is to continue to bring you more consistent content. And the way that we can do that is to know what's important to you, to know, especially here in Parent Power Hour, what sorts of things are you facing? What parts of your story that you recognize that is part of the story for all of us? And we love to hear from you. Any questions that you have, any struggles, any time that you've tried something like this and you've been like, that did not work, please share it. We can learn from our failures, right? Share it if you tried something that happened on here and it didn't work for you, or if it did work for you, share it. I'd love to hear that back from you. You can either add it here as a comment, or of course you can always DM us at New Minds Enrichment on this account that you're here. If you're looking for me, I'm Kristen at Numien.com. If you want to shoot me an email, NUMIEN.com. And I think that's all I have for today. I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday if you've got the rest of it ahead of you. If not, you're finishing up your day. Rest and joy. Have a great day.